The Galactic Soul, the Honorable Brother, the Revolutionary yourself, Darius Lockhart, and I'm here to tell you to watch Powerbombshells every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern on the Fight Game Media YouTube channel. That's right, every Sunday at 1 p.m., and that's on time, every time, because when we stand together, what time is it? That's right, it's nation time.
Welcome to Powerbombshells 192. I'm Mel, that's Sam, and we're just two broads talking about the wrestling we watch. What is shaking, Sam?
I do want to, first of all, thank you for everyone who is here in the chat today or who will be watching on the replay. We do have something very special coming up for you. In just a few minutes, we want to give everybody time to get in and get situated before we air that very special interview. But I want to I see how Make Beats is already in the comments. This is shout out to you guys for not covering War Games. Sick of seeing a certain person plastered all off. All over my feed. I unfortunately had to help with coverage of War Games last night because, or Survivor Series, because Collision was on Thanksgiving, and luckily I was given the night off. The other woman who does live coverage had already planned to do it, so shout out to Wrestling Inc. for letting me have all of Thanksgiving off, not just for my day job, but from them as well, and I could just watch Collision as a Collision cowgirl and didn't have to worry about doing live coverage. So I appreciate that. But in that sacrifice, I did have to watch Survivor Series. I won't spend too much time on it. It was boring. This is one of their top 4 pay-per-views of the year, has been one of their big 4 shows for decades. It was the routine PLE. The women kicked the night off. Their match was fine. It didn't live up to the hype of the other ones. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. The other 2 matches, so there were 4 matches total. The other 2 matches had the John Cena Dominic Mysterio match, which I covered. So if you don't want to watch it, I got you. You can go. I've already posted it. You can go to WrestlingInc.com or you can go to my Twitter or Blue Sky. The article is right there. It tells you all about it. But there was some shenanigans in there that were over. It was just a overbooked mess. So there was that. And then the women's match was Nikki Bella versus Stephanie Vacker, which you can tell by the people who were in that match how that match went. Shout out to Stephanie because she carried that match. And then the men's War Games was just boring. It was a routine main event inside of a cage. It was a waste of time. I heard Lo, who from Wrestling Wind Down was at the show. She says that on the way out, people were asking for refunds. So I don't know if that means refunds as they were actually stopping and asking, or if they were saying when they got home they were going to ask for refunds, or if they were just that angry and just, saying things, and who knows if they'll actually follow through. But they spent thousands of dollars to attend that show, and first of all, I don't know how you would get played enough to do that, but if you do, I completely understand why you'd want your money back. It was a terrible show. It was boring. Also, if you don't want to read it, we always do the love hated column for whatever show it is, and my hated was basically arguing for them to stop with War Games for a while because it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't. Dusty Rhodes would be disappointed in what War Games has become. The being in a cage does nothing for what they're doing. They need to step away from the War Game style matches and go back to the traditional 5-on-5 matches, which they did do a traditional 5-on-5 match on Friday with a dream team that Sami Zayn had. It was Sami Zayn, Rey Fenix, Shinsuke Nakamura, and the Motor City Machine Guns against Solo Sikoa and the MFTs. That match was terrible.
Oh, wow.
Talatonga, who was the former Hikuleo, eliminated Motor City Machine Guns back to back. And then they protected him by having him being eliminated via count out. So they apparently are big on Hikuleo. And then it, of course, very obviously came down to Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa just barely beat Sami Zayn. And then within maybe a minute of the match ending, the Wyatt Six returned, and Solo Sikoa got laid out by Sister Abigail, and the show went off the air. So that match was basically an omen for the rest of the way the Survivor Series was going to play out. It's just, they are overbooking everything. Nothing. It's just a lot of nonsense. And if I didn't have to watch that show because I have to, I would not watch WWE. It's a mess.
Paycheck. That's all I gotta say about that.
So that's really all I have to say about Survivor Series. And if you had to watch it, I'm sorry that you had to suffer through it as well.
Now, I'm assuming that I'm not going to say that person's name, but was it the person that was named 44 times in a lawsuit?
Oh, yes. Yeah,
okay.
And apparently there was a rumor going around before the show started that in the men's match, there were egos involved over the order that they should come out in the match, which I need these 10 men to get over themselves. And as my editor put it, they're lucky they're even main eventing this show. But yeah, so apparently there were some egos from certain people. I'm guessing the person named in the lawsuit 44 times, and probably Roman Reigns were probably the two that they were talking about.
I mean, I personally don't give any craps about what a person named 44 times in a sex trafficking lawsuit and an abuse lawsuit has to say, and I don't know where you get off having an ego at that point.
Right.
But Rollins has got his own issues too, so
he wasn't in the match. Rollins is out. He's had surgery a couple months ago. He was not there, so he's not involved. It was Roman Reigns. And
I'm
Brock
sorry,
Lesnar,
Roman Reigns.
Probably
sorry,
probably those two. I mean,
got my R's crossed.
Cody was in the match, but I doubt it was Cody. CM Punk was in the match. He came out first. I don't think it was him. I think it was those. It was the main two because they were the final two that came out for their teams. I think it was that the match itself was boring. Oh, and so I didn't officially time the matches, but I looked at the clock just to kind of gauge especially because we just had the blood and guts. So the women's blood and guts match from the last person who entered the ring, which is where the match officially starts, is when the last person enters the ring is where it starts. So the women in blood and guts, they got like 14 and a half minutes from the time the bell rang to the very end, not counting everything that leads up to that. But the match officially starts when the last person gets in the ring. So then last night for the women's War Games match, they got about 9 minutes from the time Rhea Ripley entered the ring and the match officially started to it ending. And then the men from the time Roman Reigns got into the ring to the match ending was 6 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. So, it was a time, but they should
Sam's getting paid, folks. We can't reiterate this enough.
Yeah.
She is getting paid. She needs to pay her bills. That's the only reason she's participating.
Yeah. Crash says they should rename it WWE War Crimes. You know what's funny is because usually in the War Games matches,
kind of works all the way around.
They have the cage at the top of the ramp on the stage where the teams are locked in, and then the time counts down to 10 seconds, and they cut back to the cage, and everybody's like, "Who is it?" They open the cage door, and the next person comes out. Well, because of the setup at Petco Park, which is a baseball stadium, they did not have room for a cage. But then somebody joked that it's because WWE didn't want images of Brock Lesnar behind bars to be on the internet. And that was the real reason.
I mean, it does seem memeable.
Yes, very much so. And so, yeah, it was.
Oh my.
Yeah, and so so there was and in all of this terribleness, Logan Paul was also in this match, and I somehow forgot for like 5 seconds that he was gonna be in it. His music hit, and I was like, oh yeah, somehow he's the least terrible person in this match. I mean, he's like number 2, but somehow not the worst person in this match. And then to make it even more interesting, the hooded person who came and attacked CM Punk to help the heels get the win never revealed themselves is reportedly Austin Theory, who himself was named in speaking out. So,
wow, just wow,
right,
just, wow,
yeah.
wow.
So that's what's happening.
WWE gonna WWE.
I will say, if you care to have more in-depth coverage of what happened, I'm sure Keila Cash had a lot to say.
Oh, I'm sure.
Last night, Keila Cash and Garrett Gonzalez, and I believe his name is it, I'm so sorry if I butcher his name. I think it's Gal or Khal, I believe. And so I am so sorry for mispronouncing that. I should have listened to the name first. But they did a post show immediately after last night. And so it is up on our YouTube channel. If you do want more in-depth stuff about what went down. And like I said, I'm sure Keila Cash had a lot to say about what went down last night.
I probably would enjoy listening to Keila Cash talk about it way more than I ever would about. I mean, that's pretty much been true of WWE anyway.
Right.
But
yes.
Yeah.
So, it has been. It's not.
Right.
It's not LA Night. It's pretty much been confirmed by other reports that it is Austin Theory. Austin Theory was originally slated to be in this match for God knows what reason, because he's been off TV for months because he's injured. And so there were rumors for the last couple months that Austin Theory was supposed to be in this match. And so they apparently just decided to bring him back to, he did the curb stomp, as though people of course thought it was Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is not built that way. And also Seth Rollins had surgery. It's not Seth Rollins. However, he may have arrived in a Cybertruck, but don't flip off Seth Rollins for driving a Cybertruck, or
because he's got his kid in there.
He'll turn her, because his kid who didn't see it. I'm pretty sure that's what the comment said. His kid did not see it. But yeah, he got big mad about that. So don't flip off Seth Rollins, or he'll turn around and yell at you, I guess.
How does he know they weren't flipping off the Cybertruck? I mean, that's pretty bold, Seth Rollins. Not everybody knows about wrestling, in case he missed it.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, in case you didn't know, there's a way bigger reason to be mad at Cybertrucks than there are to be mad at Seth Rollins. So maybe it wasn't even him. I'm just putting it out there.
Who knows?
Duck up jerk.
Oh, Fernando says that he did confirm that Keila had a lot to say last night.
Excellent. Well, she's very, very good at when she has a lot to say.
Yes. And there's also something else happened in WWE land. But I don't want to do that before I will save that. We will circle back to it, because we have to talk about what Becky Lynch said. There's just no way around that, but I want to get into this interview first, and then we'll save the Becky Lynch stuff for after that, and then we'll get to the rest of our show. But so before we start this interview, I do quickly want to talk about this Saturday. Ashe will be having its second anniversary show. I can't believe we're already at 2 years of Ashe, which is incredible. And so we will be airing very shortly an interview with the inaugural Ashe Women's Champion, Charity King, who graciously took some time out of her schedule last week to sit down for this interview with me. And so I really appreciate that. But I want to run down this card really quick for Ashe's second anniversary show, because it is stacked. And if you are in Charlotte, even if you're in driving distance, please come out on Saturday, because this is going to be an incredible show. If you are not able to make it to the show in person, then please go to, and Charity will tell you again how to find the show. Ashe does have a Patreon now, and you can for you can sign up. There's multiple tiers for Ashe's Patreon, and you can access the show that way through their Patreon, or you can go through their website, which is ashewrestling.com. And I believe you go to watch, and then there is a place there where you can buy a ticket to watch the show live. And so definitely recommend that if you are able to. So our pre-show match is Dante Khalifa versus Jaquan Anderson, which I'm really looking forward to. I've seen Dante a little bit. This will be a really great way to get the crowd pumped for the show. Then we have the Audacity versus the Ugly Gang versus Top Shooters. They will be this is for the #1 contendership for the tag titles. They just crowned inaugural tag team champions, TME, at the last show. Ugly Gang was, I'll say it, Ugly Gang was robbed. They should have won that match, but the Audacity had the audacity to get involved and make it so that the Ugly Gang did not win the tag team title. So this should be really interesting. I have not seen the Top Shooters, but my friend Matthew said that he saw them recently, and he said that they are really, really good, which I'm excited about because I love tag team wrestling. So the more tag teams that I can find to enjoy, the better for me. We also have Darian Binkson versus Shug D in a hold for hold match, which I think will be phenomenal. Shug is he was PWX Pure Champion for a very long time. Darian has been doing some pure style matches, so this hold for hold match should be really good. In the singles matches, we're getting if you like big meaty men slapping meat, this match is for you, and it is for me. It is Yaya versus Bojack, which both are incredible in their own right, and I cannot wait to see them go toe-to-toe. I'm very excited about the big meaty men in this match. Of course, Ashe owner Darius Lockhart will be in the ring. He will be competing against Jossie. They have been going back and forth for the last couple of months. Jossie has been running his mouth. Darius has had plenty to say back. I encourage you to go to YouTube and watch the promos between the two of them. And if you haven't watched last month's show, because there's some good stuff there. Then we have Savannah Evans versus Alexis Littlefoot. Alexis put $5,000 on Savannah becoming the #1 or becoming the very first Ashe Women's Champion. When that didn't happen, Alexis wanted her money back. And Savannah is not having it. So they are going to fight it out in the ring. Then we will have 3 title matches on this show. We have Khan, who is the current Pan-African World Diaspora Champion. He will be defending it against Calvin Tankman, which should be incredible. I'm really excited for that one. Then we have Mr. Darius Carter, who is a friend of our show, who has been here before. He will be taking on LeBron Cozone for the Ashe Men's Championship. That's going to be really good. LeBron wrestled Cedric Alexander to become the #1 contender. There was some shenanigans involved. So LeBron will be the one who is the #1 contender this time. Cedric, I believe, will be the #1 contender for whoever wins this match. He will be the #1 contender at the show in February for that one. And then finally, we have Charity King defending her Ashe Women's Championship against Jocelyn Navarro. As you will see in our interview, Charity has a lot to say about Jocelyn. And I'm sure once Jocelyn sees this, she's going to have a lot to say back to Charity. So this will be a ton of fun. And I hope you guys are ready for this interview with Charity. This is the first time we've aired an interview like this. So please hold for any technical issues here. Let me see if we can get this on here for you guys.
Thank you for having me.
We'll get it. Okay. I think all right. All right. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm extremely excited to be here. Very excited. Very excited.
Good. I am too. And so I should have given in the introduction, I should have introduced you as Ashe Women's Champion, Charity King, and also number 86
on the PWI Women's 250, which is incredible because that was your debut and you've already debuted in the top 100, which is, I mean, I guess no surprise for those of us who are fans of your work, but that's a pretty great accomplishment. So what is that like being on that list and to debut that high on the list?
It's truly humbling. I did not expect it at all. I had two things. I was not going to be on the list, one. And then two, if I was on the list, I'd probably be like number 250. And so when I received the text message saying, hey, you're on the list, and also look at the number, I was like, oh goodness. I was very excited, also very humbled. First time on the list, top 100. I don't know. I'm just extremely grateful for how my career is currently going. I'm grateful for everyone who supports me. And I just hope that I can keep on making everyone proud. So,
yeah, absolutely. And what's it like being in a magazine with the cover being Mercedes Moné and Timeless Toni Storm, who are obviously at the very top of their game right now. And then so people are buying that issue for them, and then they're flipping through, and there's Charity King.
It's all coming back to kind of help everyone, right? Like you said, the women who are buying it for Mercedes and Toni, and as they're flipping, they're probably learning new names. They're probably learning my name kind of for the first time. So I'm just all grateful for everything. I'm happy. I'm very much happy about that.
Definitely. And how does that list, being on that list, does that just like add a chip to your shoulder? Does it make you feel like, okay, well, next year I need to be even higher? Or is it just, I gotta, continue maintaining my work so that I stay on this 250, or does it have any effect on what you do?
I think it honestly showed me that people are watching, even if I don't think they are. People are watching, and it just kind of re-cements me. It just makes me feel like, okay, you keep up the hard work and you'll be fine. Like, just keep working hard, keep your head down, keep doing what you're doing, and then you'll be fine. I think it continues to be the gas to my fire, and it's kind of making the gas grow, because like I said, I just want to make everyone proud and kind of prove myself right and prove other people who support me right. And so that's kind of what it's making me do right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, as I mentioned, you are the inaugural Ashe Women's Champion. What does it mean to be the first one to carry that title?
It means everything. I mean, Darius's promotion, Ashe, is truly one of its kind. And it is something that he has said he wanted to do, and he decided to actually do it. And he created a space for Black wrestlers to showcase their talent. And for me to be the first ever female champion there, it's truly history making. And I want to do right by his company, do right by this title. And that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, definitely. And so Ashe has made the point to differentiate between the women's and men's titles. And when they talk about the titles, they say men's world championship, women's world championship. How do you feel about that distinction? Does that add anything to, do you like that they do that, or does it have any effect on how you view it?
I honestly love it. I think it should be the standard, to be honest, because it used to be this kind of feeling like the women's belt was just an extra belt. You know what I mean? And the world title was the big one, or it always felt like the men's was the high point, and everyone else's was just kind of under it. But at the same time, we're also saying that, well, there's women's division and the men's division, and the leaders are the titles. But if you keep on just calling one the women's and then one the world or one the company's title, then are you truly saying that both divisions are equal and that both champions are both leaders of your company? And so in this route that he's taking, he's also letting it known that even when he says that both champions are leaders in the company, he means it. This is the Ashe women's, and then Darius Carter has the Ashe men's. And I think it just further cements that that women are important in this business. And we are also just as talented, if not more, half the time. Our matches are more entertaining half the time.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of thing that shows that that both people are on the same playing field. So
right. Even if Mr. Darius Carter wants to say that he's the most important.
Mr. Darius
I
Carter,
I'm giving you a little bit of a hard time on social media.
Honestly, he needs counseling. That's what he needs. He needs counseling. He's truly having a hard time, honestly, trying to co-lead. He doesn't understand that. But it's okay. We'll get him to understand that. It's okay.
And now there's tag team champions there's inaugural tag team champions that that have to be who are in the picture and now also have to co-lead.
I'm sure he's stressed out about that too, because he loves to be the only leader.
Right. And so after you won the championship, I think it was almost immediately after Ashe posted it to social media, Nyla Rose was in the mentions alerting Mercedes Moné that not to worry about her, or that Nyla herself had a title at the time, but look over here, look at this brand new shiny title. And then, of course, Mercedes responded, as she does with her eyes emojis every time she gets excited when she sees something new and shiny. So what was that like, kind of having that interaction with not only Mercedes Moné, but also Nyla Rose, who was a former AEW Women's Champion as well?
I just felt like Nyla was being petty. She was being so petty because, girl, like, she has her eyes on your title, and you're trying to bring it to mine. Like, no. I have my title, and I'm going to keep my title. But I mean, it was fun. It was great. It's kind of one of those things where because they both have eyes on me, it makes everyone else ask, why do they have eyes on this girl? And then more people are kind of looking into me, and more people are now looking into Ashe to figure out, wait, what's happening here? And so it's all good for the business, right? It's all good for the business, and also good kind of for my business as well. But as far as this title ain't going nowhere, okay? So it doesn't matter who it is, if it's Nyla, if it's Mercedes, title's going nowhere, okay?
That's what I was going to ask. It's like, do you have a message for either Nyla Rose or Mercedes Moné?
That's the message. The title ain't going nowhere, ladies. It's going nowhere. Okay, stay with me.
And so I would think that means they also would have an open invite to come to Ashe. I don't want to put any words in Darius's mouth, but Darius, I think the people would like to see it. If I know Mercedes probably doesn't come cheap. However, she might if she wants that title bad enough.
It's staying with me. No matter if she comes or not, it's staying with me.
Right. Exactly. And speaking of, that title and staying with you, you are defending your title against Jocelyn Navarro on the Ashe second anniversary show on Saturday, December the 6th. What are you hoping for in this match? What are your thoughts on Jocelyn?
My thoughts on Jocelyn. Okay. So I'm going to start there.
Okay.
That's my friend, first of all.
Right.
So I don't even know why she's even looking at my championship. Let's start there.
Right.
Let's start there. Okay. As someone who claims to be my friend, how come your eyes are on my title? But it's okay, because I am a defending champion. I also have defended my title just recently against Jada Stone at New Pro Wrestling. So I am a defending champion. I like Jocelyn. I think she's very talented. I think she's one of the few hosses in women's wrestling right now, and I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be exciting. But I also know that she's hungry. She's looking for some respect, and just because we're friends, just because we're cool, does not mean that she's going to come into the match not trying to win, not trying to do everything she can to get my title. So I'm not taking her lightly, and I hope she ain't taking me lightly. And so that's kind of that's kind of how I feel about it. I think it's going to be a very fun match, and I know I'm going to walk out and still.
Absolutely. And still. And so are you concerned because she obviously has come out during some of Isaiah Bronner's matches. Are you concerned that he might try to get involved in your match?
I'm not concerned about Isaiah Bronner. No, I'm not concerned about that. You know, I like to think that he does not insert himself in the business of women.
Right.
You know, I like to think
smart.
that he minds his business.
Right.
And he will stay in men's business. That's what I like to think. Okay. But if he does, he needs to know I also got men friends too. So
right.
if he feels froggy and he wants to jump, I got some friends too. So yeah.
Right. All right. So I hope he hears that and he minds his business, as you said, stay out of women's business and
stay out of women's business.
Worry about your own.
Just worry about his own business now.
Right.
Yeah.
And I want to go back for a second of the night that you won the Ashe Women's Championship. One of the people that was in that ring was Jazz. What is it like to have, or I'm sorry, but yes. Okay. I lost my train of thought there. So what was it like in that moment, seeing all these people come to the ring for you and to have that moment there?
That whole was a surprise for me. And everyone comes room and I'm always shocked that anyone supports me. Let's start there. Because I have huge imposter syndrome and I have this idea that I'm not even close to even being good enough. Right. So when people show me support, I'm always like, you sure? You sure you're talking to the right one? And so it was very humbling. And I mean, I cried. And Jazz, Jazz has been in a lot of my big moments. I was a huge fan of Jazz as a child. She's the reason I wrestle now. I went to her seminars and then I started wrestling at a promotion. She produced that. And then from there, she helped me and my former tag partner get into NWA. We won the tag titles there. And now here we are now. She's handing me the Ashe belt. So Jazz has just been around my big wrestling moments, and it's humbling because the child in me is so excited to see her every single time, and to know that she's been involved in so many of my wrestling moments. It's truly wonderful, and I love her and will forever love her. And I really loved that moment. I loved it all. Loved everything about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's incredible that even though I'm sure it's hard to, because that is somebody that you were a fan of as a child, but that now you are her peer because she was a women's champion. And now you are a peer of hers, even though I obviously still look at her as like a mentor and these things, which I think is one of the great things about Ashe and the people that they've been able to have involved and bring in to Ashe. And I don't want to say, I guess, validate it, but also just support them. And so what is it like having the support of the Jazzes, the Mark Henrys, Ron Simmons, and people, of that stature, especially for not just wrestling, but also as Black wrestlers?
It's truly wonderful. I mean, these are the people who, because of them, we are able to wrestle now. Because they went through everything they went through, we are now able to have the matches that we have. We are now, in terms of women, we are now able to have 15-minute long matches or 30-minute long matches, an hour-long matches now, because they had to go through what they had to go through. And so every time someone who's a veteran comes and gives me a stamp of any kind of approval, I'm always humbled. And it just reminds me that I am on the right track and that the people I surround myself with are good people and they're guiding me on the right track. Being at Ashe has allowed me to be around so much of that and so much of the guidance and so much of the support. And it has allowed me to kind of grow it in my confidence a bit and to believe that I might actually be halfway good at this maybe, I don't know. And just, you know, it's a helpful reminder every time I'm there. So I love being there.
Right. Definitely. And so talk to me a bit, because I'm going back to, obviously we're, promoting the Ashe second anniversary show, which is a huge deal for an independent show. And especially of doing the things that Darius is doing, which is, very, I would say, innovative. It's a lot different than I think what you can find out there, or at least, especially, obviously I've attended as a fan, and just being in that experience, there's definitely nothing like being at an Ashe show. So what is, talk to me a little bit about, because you've been there since the very first show. And so what has the growth been like over these last 2 years?
Man, Ashe has grown so much. I remember, honestly, when the first show happened, and it was this huge buzz around it, but people also were like, okay, what's Darius Lockhart doing? Like, he's supposed to be the wrestler,
Right.
Now he's having his own show. Like, what's happening here? And I think he's grown it to be where people add respect to Ashe. Like when people talk about Ashe, it's filled with a lot of respect, and it's filled with a lot of gratitude. He might not like to be told this, but he saved a lot of people's careers because of Ashe. Ashe has been the platform to start careers, and it's for me, and it's been the platform to save them as well. People who were not getting looked at, people who should have been getting looked at but weren't, and he has been able to platform them. And because of the way he thinks, and because of the way he runs his business, he has made Ashe to be a place where he can save careers and he can start careers there. And so I think he's done a very, very great job. And to see where it's at in only 2 years, it's insane. Like the amount of people he's had on there, and kind of where they are now, and so he's doing a wonderful job. And I hope every day he wakes up and he pats himself on the back and says, hey, I'm Darius Lockhart.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, he does that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so what are you hoping for in year 3 of Ashe?
I'm hoping to be still Ashe Women's Champion.
Move over, Athena, forever champion.
Yes, I'm hoping to still be Ashe. They're gonna be like, wow, she's been champion for a long time. Yes. That's what I'm hoping for, and still. But in the process, I'm also hoping to continue to elevate this championship. I want to defend it everywhere. In Ashe, outside of Ashe, against any competitor. And I'm hoping that by the time we have reached the 3-year mark, that this title is something that is so well respected. This title is allowing, if it's not me, the next person to succeed and to elevate their careers as well with it. I just want all the hard work to be reflected in Ashe's 3-year, and to just continue to add to its growth.
Absolutely. And so in this time that you're champion, is there anyone that you are hoping to face, or that you'd like for Darius to try to bring in, or you take that title to them? Is there anyone that you have your eye on?
I think right now, the person I have my eye on right now to take my title to is Danny Luna, and then also Johnny Robbie. I think those are my 2 that I have my eyes on to take my title to as of this moment. But I'm open to all competitors. Okay, I want everybody. There are a few girls on the indies that I would love to defend my championship against. Someone like Nomi. She's another one of those few powerhouses in women's wrestling right now. And so also Jordan Blade coming back again for this, since I beat her to qualify. So now, like coming back again, I would love to wrestle her again. And yeah, there's so many. I'm open to everyone. And I just want to defend my championship. Defend my championship. That's all.
Let's make that happen, Darius. Let her defend it anywhere and all the time if she wants to.
Yes.
So you obviously when you started in Ashe, you came in as a tag team wrestler, and you have been, obviously, for the last several months, you have been a singles wrestler. So what is that transition like, going from being a tag team wrestler? And obviously, you have to, you're doing things together, you're working matches together, you're planning out everything together, and now it's all on you. So is it just a different approach to it? Is it more or less stressful being a singles wrestler versus tag wrestling? And how has that affected you in your career as of late?
I think that being a naturally anxious person has made it more stressful. I don't know if the average tag team wrestler who turns into a singles competitor would say it's more stressful. But for me and my anxiety and my imposter syndrome was way, 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 way stressful. Too stressful. I think it was a very hard transition for me, to be honest. I don't even lie. Hard transition. Very, very hard transition. It was because it ended kind of abruptly. And so having to navigate kind of through what was next for me was unexpected. And so I just didn't know what to do. And even sometimes now, and it took me a while to even get simple things like my entrance down. You know what I mean? Like for the longest time, I would come out and I would look to my left or to my right, and someone was always there, and kind of feeding off of that person in the entrance, and even in my tags, and even inside the ring, and kind of feeding off of her energy, even when we're calling things together. And now, I remember the first time I came out after the tag ended, and I looked to my left, and I was like, oh, she's not there. And I was like, okay, what do I do? Hi, and so even that kind of awkward moment of like, oh goodness, like even my entrance is changing. Like it was a hard transition. But I mean, here we are now. You know what I mean? I've had a lot of good people around me who reminded me that if I wanted to stay the course, I still could. It's not the end of the road for me. I had some great people here in Texas who would listen to my phone calls, who would go out to eat and just listen to me complain. My trainers here, JJ Blake, my friends, people at Ashe, Faye Jackson. And so there were a lot of people who were around me to be like, hey, if you want to do this, you can. Like, there's something in you, you can do it. So you just gotta just not stop, kind of thing. And so thankfully I didn't stop, because now look at me, number 86, first ever Ashe champ. So I'm thankful I didn't stop. I did have to work through a lot of anxiety and imposter syndrome and all the doubts and stuff like that. But I'm still working through that too. But I'm just glad I didn't stop. I just kept going. So
I'm glad you didn't stop either. I'm very glad to see you the way you've been thriving, and obviously to be the inaugural Ashe Women's Champion, which will always be in Ashe's history books. They will never be able to take that away. It's you. You're the first one. You're the one who gets to set the tone for that title, which is incredible. And so, speaking of the indies, you've wrestled in different places, and you've wrestled, in NWA and things like that. There's been a lot of changes in the last couple months with we've heard from some major promotions, indie promotions, including like Deadlock Pro. They, will be stopping their shows. So is, Prestige Wrestling is as well. And so now there's been this conversation that indie wrestling is dying, or, what are we going to do? What happens? And people are stressing out or they're making wild assumptions. So as somebody who is in the indie scene, what are your thoughts on that? And what are your thoughts on some of these bigger promotions that are closing, and how that affects the ecosystem of the indie scene?
I think it's obviously going to affect the ecosystem of the indies. Obviously, those two promotions that you just named are huge promotions, and they platformed a lot of people. They platformed a lot of stars. And so when they go, there's going to be a huge gap, and those people are going to need to find new homes, kind of, so to speak.
Right.
But I wouldn't necessarily say it's completely dead. I think the indies are. I think people just need to put their money where their mouth is, so to speak, and support the indies. You need to watch the indies. You need to go out to your local indie in your city. You need to travel 2-3 hours to the next indie show. You just need to watch. Buy merch. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's even New Texas is currently still around, and they have just announced a partnership with West Coast Pro.
Right.
The indies, they're not dead. Is the fact that those two promotions, the fact that they're ending, is it going to be a huge loss for us? Yeah, it is. There are a lot of people who are going to be affected by them no longer being a company. But I wouldn't say it's dead. I just think that the fans need to continue to support independent wrestling and also look forward to new exciting things, like example, New Texas and West Coast. New Texas has also been platforming Ashe, with me wrestling there as well, defending Ashe title there. And so Ashe, they brought in the TNA X Division champion, Leon Slater. So watch Ashe, watch New Texas, watch West Coast Pro. If you live in Arkansas, go to your local Arkansas indie promotion, watch them. So I guess the answer is it painful to hear? Yes. Is it gonna affect some people? Yes. But is it dead? I wouldn't say it's dead. So yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, yeah, and definitely, like you said, support your. I mean, at all times, support your local indie, but even more now with the way things are going, and they always need our support. And we try to remind people here on Power Bombshells, is indie wrestling is the lifeblood of wrestling. Like, that's where wrestlers get. In most cases, of course, there's some wrestlers who take different paths to get to maybe get to TV and things like that, but generally they are the lifeblood of wrestling. That's where that's where the pipeline comes from. Is they usually most people work their way through the indies to TV and things like that. And so support, and also, as we always say, it also supports your local economy on top of that, which is very much needed. So besides supporting your local promotion, so that they are there, so they aren't shutting down and things like that. And so, to kind of bring this back, and I think you touched on this already, but what do you hope to accomplish as Ashe Women's Champion, of being the first one?
I want to just make sure that everything I do goes back to improving the company. Everything I do goes back to raising the status of the championship. It's not about me. I mean, it is about me, but it's not about me. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just want everything I do to go back to this company, for the way that it's supported me. It supported so many other companies and so many other talent. I want that everything I do to go back to its growth. Everything I do to go back to the growth of this championship. I want for this championship's status and greatness to live longer than me. You know what I mean? And so that's honestly what I want. I want to have amazing matches. I want to have awesome matches with talented women. And I want that to also continue to also push like women's wrestling as well. I want for people to see me and hopefully see that they can also do it too. And so that's kind of where I am. I hope I answered that question. It's a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And so going back to the anniversary show, where can you tell the people how to watch the show? If they obviously, if they're in Charlotte, please come out and support. Yes. But if not, how they can watch the show.
If you're in North Carolina, period, just come out. Who cares?
Right. Yeah. Period. Yeah.
If you're in Greensboro, just drive. If you're in Winston-Salem, drive. Just drive. If you're in North Carolina, drive, baby, drive. And then after that, going to Ashe's Patreon. If you sign up for one of their levels, you automatically get the show. And then after that, you go to AsheWrestling.com and you go, I think you go to watch or something like that. And it'll also take you to how to purchase the show as well. Those are the two ways. You sign up for the Patreon, Ashe's Patreon, whichever level you get to get the show. And or you can go to AsheWrestling.com if you don't want the Patreon, and you go to how to watch or watch, and you can also pay for it there that way.
Yes, that's also a way to support your local indie if you can't, or even if they're not your local indie, you can support indies by buying shows and purchasing them. Like you can with Ashe. Joining the Patreon is a huge help to Ashe. So that is also, and they have various tiers. Yeah, go ahead.
No, if I and yes, they do have various tiers on Patreon. So it's not just one. They have various tiers for whatever your bank account can allow you to support. And then also they have merch. They have replica titles. They have T-shirts. So there's so many ways. If you're like, I don't think I can buy I can probably pay for a show, then pay for a replica title, then pay for a T-shirt, pay for a sticker of Ashe. They have merch. Go to AsheWrestling.com. They have merch as well. So many ways to support the growth of Ashe. So many ways.
Absolutely. And if they want to find Charity King merch, where can they find that?
You find that at me. That is true though. Like if I'm at a show, I have merch. So buy my merch at shows. And then the next place is I sell T-shirts at foryourwear.com, and I sell my T-shirts there. It is also in the link in my bio. So if you're like, girl, where? Just go to my Instagram. Don't worry about it, girl. Go to my Instagram. You click the link in my bio. You will see my link to my merch. You ain't got to think too hard. Just go to my Instagram, bio, link to my merch. Don't think too hard.
There you go. Make it easy for you.
Yes. Very easy.
And so,
no excuses.
And do you have, so if people are, kind of on the fence about purchasing the Ashe show or coming to it, what is your pitch to get them to come to the second anniversary show of Ashe's on December the 6th?
My pitch is grow up. What you uncomfortable about? Watch wrestling. Grow up. Okay. I think that Ashe shows, for anyone who's ever been there, it's very much a family affair. You feel like you're seeing your cousins or like your uncle, your aunts and stuff. It's a family affair. You can bring your kids there. You're going to have a good time. Even if you come by yourself, you're going to have a good time. The fans are interactive with not just us, but each other. They're talking to each other. They're kind of setting up meets and stuff. People who met at the show, they're like, oh, you're cool. Let's meet up again at the next show. It's truly a safe space for everyone.
Absolutely.
Everyone, all races, all orientations, every single person is safe there. So come out, enjoy a show. So you can buy food, you can bring it, eat, you can drink, eat. Like, come on, let's have a good time. Just enjoy, chill, have a good time. You can bring somebody. Come by yourself. Trust me, I wouldn't lead you wrong. I wouldn't. Okay. I wouldn't. If I didn't like Ashe, I'd be like, you can come if you want. Trust me.
Listen, as somebody who's been to most of the shows, I can confirm everything that Charity just said. But she's the inaugural women's champion, so you should take her word for it. She, like she said, she's not going to steer you wrong, and you should grow up and come to this show. Come on out. All right. And do you, before we end this today, do you have a parting message for Jocelyn or anybody or any fans or just anybody?
My parting message for Jocelyn Navarro is, you better bring your A game. Because like I've told every other woman, you're going to take this title from me, you best be ready to DIE. Okay? So be ready to fight. I know we cool, but that night we ain't going to be cool. So be ready. And to the fans, thank you so much. To PWI, thank you so much. New Texas Ashe, thank you guys so much. Thanks to everyone who ever supported me. Thank you guys so much. That's how I feel. And thank you for having me. Thank you, girl.
You are welcome. You are welcome back anytime. And we are fans of you here in this house. And so we're very excited for you and very excited for Ashe's 2-year anniversary show and whatever is to come in year 3. Because if these have been the first 2 years, I can't imagine what year 3 is going to look like.
Okay, year 3, we're taking over.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much for being here with us. And make sure I've got Charity's information here on the screen. Make sure to follow her on social media, support her, buy merch if you can. Also, make sure as soon as this interview airs, if you're not already, go to Ashe Wrestling on YouTube and go give them a follow. That's a free way to support them. Is a free way to support wrestlers is to talk about them on social media. So.
Please do. Please talk about me in a nice way.
Yeah. Please do. Yes. Right. Thank you. Hey, everyone. All right. Okay. So thank you again to Charity King for taking the time to chat with me last week. It was really fun. I've talked about it before. I interviewed Charity way back at the very second Ashe show. And when I met her and her former tag team partner, Danny B, they greeted me like I had known them for 5 years. And not that I was just meeting them for the first time. They are wonderful. Charity is great. She's super sweet and nice. And then in the ring, she will make you DIE. So I'm very, very glad to have her on. Cannot wait to see her on Saturday. Like Nikki said, we have made a lot of friends through the indie scene, and Ashe does feel like family. Crash said it sounds like a really positive environment and a community for sure. I can confirm I am probably a little biased, but please definitely come out and support if you are able to. Of course, if you cannot make it to the show, there are definitely different ways to do that. And so there is, you can go to, thank you. You can go to the Patreon, subscribe. They've got multiple tiers, and you can get access to the show. You can also go to ashewrestling.com and go to watch, and you can purchase your ticket there, and they will email you a link directly to the show so that you can watch it. You can watch it live, but if you're not able to get to it right away, you can also, I don't know if it expires or not, but you can watch it later if you can't watch it right there in that moment. So if you are able to, please support Ashe, and definitely go support Charity King too, because she's good people, and we like platforming people like Charity King.
She had very nice things to say about Darius.
She did.
A lovely compliment.
She did. And also, hopefully I wanted to go back to Crash's comment up here before about that he believes that only if Mercedes should come, only if she puts up one of her own titles, a title for title. Charity and Ashe officially kickstart the Monet Meltdown. That would be a blast, and I would be here for it. So if they can make that happen, I would love that. But Charity and Mercedes would tear down the house, and as would her and Nyla Rose, I think, as well. So I believe that Ashe invited Nyla, or told her she was welcome anytime, and Mercedes as well. So maybe one of them will pull up. And who else could potentially pull up is Ricochet, because he is the new Ashe national champion, and they are taking this title different places. And he even said in the media scrum that he was once the king of the indies, and he could return to the indies, and he would be even better than he was then. And there is an Ashe fan who is a big Ricochet fan, and who has been asking for a while for Ashe to bring in Ricochet. So, and Khan, who is in the demand with him, is the Pan-African World Diaspora Champion. He is defending his title this Saturday. So there's definitely room for possibility for that to potentially happen. So maybe one day we could see Ricochet, Mercedes, and or Nyla Rose make their way. Nikki says to bring Toa too. Absolutely.
Why not?
Nikki,
bring the whole crowd.
Yeah, Nikki and I are Gates of Agony fans over here, because we've been watching them for a long time.
I mean, yeah,
Thank you,
guys. Yeah, it was really great. It was good stuff. Sam does a lot of nice work with that stuff. I really enjoy watching those things.
Thank you.
It's really fun to be able to support you, the women's wrestling thing, and your interviews are A lot of fun. I really liked what she had to say about Darius. I like what she had to say, obviously, about grow up, about independent wrestling. 100%. I love that.
Right.
Taught me. I love but we say this a lot, but like seriously, in this economy right now, it's still for pure dollars. It's like 10, 15, maybe 20, 25.
Yeah.
It's still so affordable and a great time. And you guys, what Darius has done with Ashe, but you can, if there's a local promotion around you somewhere. You just have to look hard enough. Like, I really think that's true. There's more wrestling than there's ever been. And I can say that obviously as a Michigander, where we, clearly not a Michiganian, but an actual Michigander, despite what Old English would tell you. But John Muse once told me, if you are out on a Friday or Saturday and can't find a pro wrestling show in Michigan, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
So it's like,
and even if you aren't able to physically attend shows, there are ways to support. Like, so many indies are available online. They have free stuff on YouTube. Like, I think it's, I believe West Coast Pro is getting, I think they're moving away from Patreon and getting, I believe it's West Coast Pro. There is a big indie that's moving away from Patreon and is going to start putting all their shows on YouTube. And Ashe has free matches on YouTube. Like, they just put up last month, there was a scramble for Leon Slater's TNA X Division title, and they put that match up for free on the Ashe YouTube channel. Like, there's free matches that way on YouTube. There's a ton of stuff out there. There's also, of course, there's like Triller, there's IWTV that you can subscribe to, and you can get access to all kinds of promotions. So there's definitely ways to support. So a lot of even local and indie places have, places for you to access, either if it's paying a small amount to subscribe or being able to get their stuff for free on YouTube.
Yeah, and it's largely the promoters or the talent or some combination of them putting all those shows up too. So they're not just putting on weekly shows. They're usually the ones that are sitting there at home doing the editing on their, Photoshop or whatever too.
Right.
So you may as well give them an up like at minimum. We're all warring with the algorithm. So
for sure, that's for sure.
Just one up them every once in a while.
Yes. Crash said, super interview. Great to see some insight from the local indies like that, especially Ashe, which seems to be forging a pretty unique pathway all of its own. Yeah, they definitely are. I really, and again, I know I am biased because I do attend the shows and I've known Darius for a really long time, but I really believe I keep platforming them and keep talking about it because I really believe in what Darius and Ashe are doing. I think that it's really important what they're doing. And if we can help them in any way with our small platform, then I would love to, I love being able to use that. And through Ashe and Chris Lee, who has been on our show as well. Oh, and shout out to Chris Lee and Cliff Baumgartner, who we had on the show several months ago talking about their PBS documentary, When Giants Walk Here, because they were nominated for a regional Emmy just last week for that documentary. So shout out to them for their for that Emmy nod, because I believe it's still available on PBS. I know that they were working on trying to get it if you could view it outside of the country. I don't know what happened with that, but if you are in the US and you can go to PBS's app, I believe you can watch it anytime. It's called When Giants Walk Here. It's really, really great. It's about the Dorton Arena up in Raleigh. There's some really, really cool things in there, especially if you like wrestling history. Then I highly recommend that. But thanks to Ashe and Chris, I have been able to interview quite a few wrestlers with Ashe over the last couple of years, and they have been wonderful to the media, which is not always the case when it comes to wrestling. But they have been really, really great to me in that sense as well, both as a fan and as doing media things as well. So I will always have love for them. They are definitely good people to support, especially in a business where there's not a lot of great people, not a lot of great things. I would say that they are good people that you can feel comfortable supporting. Yeah, me too. very happy for them. And yes, I have to go back to this comment from Brad.
That's pretty funny.
Brad, yes,
That was great. You got
that
me.
pops me. Great, thank you
Yeah.
for that. When he comes, I need you to quote tweet it with that.
Great. That's very great.
Yes, thank you, Crash, for pointing that out. That is PBS, the Public Broadcasting Service, and not Powerbombshells.
True story.
Correct. Thank you for the clarification. Didn't want to. Yes, it is a very easy mistake to make. A huge mistake to make.
Yeah.
Neither one of us are getting funded from our government, so.
Yeah, right. Yikes. Oh no. Support PBS.
Yes, if you can, also throw a few dollars PBS's way, because they are also not getting funded. They are no longer getting funded from our government, and Powerbombshells is also not getting funded from our government.
Oh, no. We don't make like any money, so we can't even start to pretend to, You need like 7-figure. That's a 7-figure buy-in right there. Come on.
Right. Oh, all right, let's get into some of these topics. I alluded to it before if you were watching from the beginning of the show. We were talking about WWE, which is where we normally would segue into this, but I didn't want to bring this up before getting into the charity interview. I wanted to save this. And then we don't, as we typically do, we try to get to the not so great stuff first and get it out of the way, and then go to send you out on a good note. So Becky Lynch, if you missed it, did an interview with Bert. I can't pronounce his last name. Kreischer.
He's a comedian.
He's a comedian.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's a comedian, not a journalist. I don't know why this topic was.
He's a comedian. For those of you who don't know, he's a comedian who literally does his stand-up with his shirt off.
Yes, and he is often when he is on WWE programming, he will lose his shirt at some point. So it's part of his gimmick. It's actually quite funny. I find the man's stand-up to be pretty hilarious with his family stuff, but notwithstanding that, so just to be clear, this is not some like hard-hitting journalist here. This is a stand-up comedian whose gimmick is to do his show with his shirt off. Right. So somehow this very kind of serious topic it is a serious topic, came up on this podcast by a comedian once again. So said comedian did not follow up on certain questions because they're not a journalist and probably would not know. I should circle back around to that, ask some more questions. I don't think I have the exact quote pulled up. I probably should have that. But she did, if I remember right, she went on a bit of a tear on how she was upset about going from main eventing WrestleMania to fighting certain people. Yes. She straight up was talking about Lacey Evans, which, she is correct. She went from being in WrestleMania to wrestling Lacey Evans, who, we'll be honest, is not very good at wrestling. She's just not in the, to put it nicely. She is also not the caliber of wrestler, same caliber of wrestler as Becky Lynch. I mean, not many women are, to be clear, but she is like, if I remember Lacey Evans right, she used to come out in a old school military chick. Because she's a veteran. Right. And then she did the old school flapper gals from the I'm forgetting all the names of the I remember her now. Okay. Yeah, and her move, her finisher was a punch, and she called it women's right. Oh, I remember her. Okay, yes. This is And then they did, and she was not, so she has not improved from her debut, is what I'm hearing. No, she is. She's gone. She hasn't wrestled for She hasn't wrestled for WWE in quite a while. It's been a couple of years since she was released, so she's not even there anymore. But apparently, Lacey. So Becky was making a fairly. She was being very truthful. She apparently was just bringing up, just that they were talking about it, and Lacey apparently took exception to it and made the she's apparently not wrestling anymore at all.
Okay, I was gonna say, but who got butthurt over it?
She did because she's not wrestling anymore. And so she so she's apparently not happy about that. I'm still trying to find this story because everything is bringing up everything was bringing up stuff from last night. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. Okay, so also in this comment, because I wanted to make sure that I get the quote right, and not just reading it off the top of my head.
No, I understand. I was just
yeah. So she was talking about how they came up, the evolution of the WWE locker room. Seth Rollins was also in this interview with her. They were both emphasizing that, culture has changed a lot in the locker room here. And then that's when Becky said, there was also a time where stay away from the boys, don't go near the boys. She said she's not going to name names, but they said to be careful of one, because one, he'll try to sleep with you. If he sleeps with you, then he'll blacklist you. And then if he tries to sleep with you and you don't sleep with him, he'll also blacklist you. So there was this line you had to walk this tightrope. And she said at one point he got my number, and I remember being like, how do you walk this line? So there was always the thing of like, if you get into a relationship and things go south, they're not going to fire the guy. They're always going to fire the girl. So that has obviously led to a bunch of speculation about who she's talking about, which has also led to why didn't she name names? Well, for multiple reasons. I can tell you why she didn't. Well, first of all,
she's still employed by the company that potentially is employing the person she might be accusing.
Well, that she was saying the word was, so it sounds like the person is potentially no longer there. But because there was no follow-up questions, that is unclear if this person is still with the company. Also, a man named 44 times in a lawsuit is back on TV, and a bunch of fans are embracing him. So if she were to say who this person is, a lot of fans would still embrace said wrestler, and they'd probably call Becky a liar. So that's
definitely.
And this has to tell you, she is a top star in this company, is getting ready to do a huge film, and she still has to protect herself and not say who this is. That tells you how much that culture actually has changed. If she is afraid to name names because she could still deal with retaliation from the company, from this person, from the fans. So of course she's not going to name names, and she doesn't have to name names. That's not the point. The point is these are things that are happening in this culture, and likely that person was doing these things when Vince McMahon was still around, when he was still the chairman and the CEO of WWE. And so that's where that's where that comment comes. It starts at the top. Well, if you have Vince McMahon doing the things out here that he's accused of doing, then I'm sure top wrestlers are going to think, I can behave this way too. Or I can blacklist these women.
That's human behavior 101. If your leaders are acting like morons, then you think you can walk around acting like morons. We've seen that live IRL lately. So
exactly.
That's people take their marching orders from the people in charge. And so if the people in charge are acting like sexual predators, what do you think the troops are going to do?
Right. Exactly. And some people have questioned the timing. It is interesting that it happened right before Thanksgiving. I was talking to someone about this, and they were like, I hope that because it's Thanksgiving, people don't move on and forget about it by next week. Some people think that maybe the comment happened because said person could potentially be coming back. Is that why she said it? It sounds like it was just the conversation that was happening, and that's how the story came out. Is there more to it? Perhaps. I have people I thought of. I have a couple people I thought of immediately when I read her quotes on who I thought may be the person that she's referring to. It seems like one of those people I thought of. A lot of people also thought it was this person as well.
Are you thinking John Cena, or are you thinking Vince McMahon?
I mean, I was not thinking of John Cena. However, John Cena has been rumored to,
because he's had accusations way the F back with him.
He
used to do around the ladies.
Yeah, there are lots of things in relation to that. He is also a close personal friend of Vince McMahon. So that does not look great for him in that factor. I was like, I don't know that I want to say who I think it is because I don't want to. I'm not making accusations. There were two names that came to mind, and when I was talking about it privately with some people, they said those were that I was talking to somebody and he said the two that I said were the two that he thought of as well. And then being on just kind of scanning Twitter, a lot of people think it's the first person I thought of.
Because the instant knee jerk is obviously Vince.
No, it's a wrestler.
But it's a wrestler.
No, she said he was a top star. It was a wrestler.
Oh.
Which means it means it was from the way I took that comment, it was not Vince McMahon. She's talking about a wrestler, a top star, who was at some point was a top star in the company who had enough power to get women blacklisted if they slept with him, but also had enough power to get them blacklisted if they did not sleep with him.
Sounds like 44 times guy.
As Crash says, it would be quicker to list who it might not be at this stage.
Fair. This is true. This is very true.
Very fair. So I have my assumptions. Of course, if you don't have to. Yeah. Basically, going back to what Crash says, unfortunately, it could be a whole host of names. I
could be everyone or any number of them.
Right. Yeah, it's thinking about the time frame when she was first coming up, depending on where she was as far as what you consider a top star. Because some people, like somebody thought, well, maybe it's Matt Riddle. I don't see Matt Riddle as a top star. I think he's a mid-carder. I think
he never made it as big as like a Cena,
right?
Or a
and I think I think the timing is off. I think she was already if it was before she was the star. Because there's not a time frame, so we don't know if this is when she first came up to the main roster, which he would not have been there if that
Baron
if that
Corbin was there during her time a lot.
He's the mid-carder.
He's not a big. They tried to make him important. It never worked.
I think the thing to remember is it is a top star who had enough power.
Yeah.
To get somebody blacklisted.
I would have to remember who was still wrestling at that time. It's like I was at that WrestleMania, and yet the only thing I really choose to remember is that the women were main eventing ish.
Yeah, and it could have been, and if it's when she first came up, that also changes the time frame because if this was before she was this prior to her even being the man? It sounds like. It depends on the time frame. Is this before she even became into the superstar status that she currently is? Was this when she was first called up? So that kind of plays with it. But I do have my theories.
Talk about it. Yeah.
I don't want to
off the thing.
I
got you because we don't know, and because it was made. It's so you're a journalist. You don't want to be speculating.
I have my theories on who it is.
We can spill the tea off camera about this.
Will we ever know who Becky's talking about?
No.
I don't know unless she finally, at the end of her, long after she's retired,
or maybe in Discovery. Maybe we'll get
maybe in Discovery. Maybe after said person passes away. Or something, something like that. Maybe we will find out the true identity of who she's talking about. But it goes back to what Crash said. It would be easier to
really be anyone. Might not be.
Right. Unfortunately, speaking out has taught us it could be anybody. The things with the people we know about, just the little bit of information we know about Vince McMahon, it could be anyone.
The people that they figured out Triple H. Shit. I didn't even.
That's not one of the people.
I don't want.
He's not one of the people I thought of initially, but he is certainly somebody that you would have to question being a top star and being a top star,
especially with the NXT people,
being in power enough to have.
Plus, he was the one working with NXT people, so.
Right. I mean, it certainly could. And again, we are not
I mean,
making
yeah, I
accusations.
don't
We're
want
just
to.
talking about.
I can speculate because I'm the chick with the hat. You can't.
We can speculate just because of just the timing and based on the facts that we do know, which is a top star, somebody who would have had the pull to.
How about we just like
to have them
once again
blacklisted.
agree that WWE sucks when it comes to this shit.
Yeah, there's that too. Yeah, and then just again, and that also the part that Becky Lynch did not feel comfortable naming someone, even at
That's
her
grosser.
level of success and
Yeah.
her stature in that company, and also, like I said, she's getting ready to be in some Star Trek adjacent TV show. That she is that successful and still probably feels like she cannot name names.
That it could like seriously damage her career. That's the only reason you hold back information like that at that point. Is that she's afraid she's afraid of retaliation and afraid of her for her career and herself.
Right. And so that tells you that as they can say until they're blue in the face that the culture has changed, the locker room is different. And I'm sure it's made some bare minimum changes. But you brought back Brock Lesnar, who is currently named in a lawsuit where he is named 44 times. That lawsuit is still being litigated. He has been cleared of nothing. Nobody involved has been cleared of anything. Nope. That it's still ongoing. They brought him back because they wanted him on TV. That is it. Then they wanted to change for people who are not super online like we are, that don't pay attention to anything. They see Brock on TV and be like, and they either don't know nothing about the lawsuit, or B, they think, oh, he's on TV, everything must be okay. She must have been lying, which is what they're doing. They are trying.
Well, they've been doing that to Janelle since the beginning. They say she's lying. They're trying to paint her as a mad girlfriend. Like,
right.
They're
trying to change perception, and this is the things that they do to do it.
Because I know that when I've been burned, the first thing I do is go out and talk about all the stuff that Janelle put in that lawsuit and just air my dirt. Like, stop. Just stop. It doesn't make logical sense. You don't know. It's just the stuff that's contained in that lawsuit is not something you put out there for public consumption unless you are really willing to stand by that. And I mean, because that's like, why would you want to tell anybody? Look at the results.
Right. Exactly.
Look at Becky Lynch is that scared.
Right. Exactly.
Gross.
Exactly. And Crash is right. That unfortunately WWE have canceled, so they've canceled. They don't do the scrums anymore, where you can ask questions directly. Which when he was asked directly, Triple H or Paul Levesque, because he is Triple H's character, Paul Levesque, the man with Vince McMahon's son-in-law, that man is the grandfather, is his children's grandfather, claims he had never read the lawsuit at the time that he was
also supposed to be running the damn company.
Right.
And just it's only a major thing about your company going on, but you didn't bother?
Yeah. Didn't bother to read. I haven't read it.
I missed that part in all the business books and business classes where the guy in charge gets to go, I don't know about that.
And I didn't read one of the biggest lawsuits against my company, against
this is literally making national and international news, but I didn't bother.
Right. So yeah, there's no accountability there either. They got rid of that way to, to have any type of accountability that way. And they're still, they're ongoing in multiple lawsuits. Like the WWE shareholders have had a lawsuit.
There's the second ring boys too. Right. They're not accused of anything good right now.
No. We didn't say that he runs the company. First of all, Nick Khan runs that company in name only. If you think he's the only one running that company, then let's not
argue about that.
Nick Khan was sitting front row. Nick Khan was sitting front row at that company. At that terrible.
I think the biggest thing here is that Becky Lynch, who is a ginormous star at WWE right at this very moment, is still afraid to name names when it comes to that kind of behavior.
Right.
At this very moment on November 30th, 2025, she's one of the biggest women stars in wrestling, and she's still afraid to say anything because it might hurt her in some way.
or or their fans are going to do like they've done with Janelle Grant, and they're going to call her a liar, and they're going to believe the man as in the man wrestler, not as the man Becky Lynch. They're not going to believe. A lot of them are not going to believe her, especially if it's a wrestler they like. Because we have seen that time and time again, especially in Speaking Out. If it's a wrestler they like, then it's automatically a lie. Same thing with Me Too. If it's an actor or a singer they like, it's automatically a lie. So Becky Lynch isn't stupid. She's watched it play out in front of her face for years.
Women have.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to be on Becky Lynch's level to see like the writing on the wall for decades. I mean,
right.
Especially when you look around at who's in charge of things. Yikes. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Welcome, Tom.
Hello, Tom. Thank you for being here. Tom, if you haven't seen it, Tom interviewed both Mel and I. Those are up. He posted a fun clip yesterday with me talking about my favorite wrestler. He's posted some clips of Mel, some really fun stuff. So if you haven't already, go subscribe to Tom's YouTube page as well, because he talks to all kinds of cool people in the wrestling media space, which I still think is such a cool idea. I think that's a really cool premise.
And Tom and our friend Dr. Lariat both recognize that women make up half the freaking population. So they're really nice that way. You know.
Yes,
and
nice
so allies. Yeah. It's nice to have allies.
It is nice to have allies. And so since this is our first time talking with you guys since the Full Gear pre-show, so a lot has happened in the last 8 days. First of all, what did you think of the pay-per-view overall?
I thought it was a little long. I am in the camp of it was a little long, but I'm not surprised because it's Tony, and so I wasn't like surprised that it was long. I thought overall,
I don't know why this conversation happens every single pay-per-view.
I know.
You know what you're paying for. You know what you're getting. If that's still a complaint, that's on you, because Tony, you know how long the pay-per-views are.
I mean, I'm not like one of the people that.
Not you. I'm just talking in general.
No, I know. Everyone always
complaint happens every time.
That is like, to me, that's the most like standard Monday morning quarterback like answer in the world. Sure, it was, but whatever. And yeah,
I would rather.
I mean, it was long for me largely because I was so
watch Full Gear than pay lots of money to watch what Survivor Series was.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that Tony brings out all the stops on his pay-per-views, and that I feel like I paid my money and got my money's worth. So, but I thought the pay-per-view was really good. Had one of my favorite AEW matches of the year on it. That Kyle O'Reilly, John Moxley match was phenomenal. The best FMW card, FMW match, not on an FMW card ever. They did it. They actually, it's been decades, and they actually nailed the assignment better than the originals. It was amazing. That was a lot of fun. I
love that
totally match. In my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes.
I at first was like, holy what? But I actually kind of like, it was fun to see a bunch of literal swerve and lots of swerves. So,
yes.
I mean, it was a lot of storytelling, so it made sense to have the storytelling be there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I thought it was a great show. I thought they did a really nice
I really enjoyed the show from top to bottom. I don't think, from what I can remember, I don't think there was a bad match. Of course, I knew I was right. I'm of course hate the FTR one, but the match.
I could have done without that entire. Honestly, that match was like I cared the least about it. I knew it was going to happen.
I got stuck covering. It was in rotation. I got stuck covering it, and they were like, "So sorry, Sam." And I was like, "It's like any other live coverage collision. I'm covering a 20-minute FTR match. That's what I do on a near weekly basis." So
I mean, at this point, you could we talked about it. You could pre-write it. You knew what was going to happen. They only do like 5 moves, and then one of them runs their mouth, and then there's that. Literally, you could pre-write it and then just like copy pasta some shit into it. Right. You'd be fine.
Shout out to Juice Robinson for shutting FTR up on Collision.
I know, right?
Shout out to that dude for being like, we get it. You think you're great. I think you're great. That's not we don't need to hear it again.
Every time.
Shut it. This is how FTR needs to be handled in promos. We've heard
Agreed.
it. They've cut the same promo for 2 years.
Pretty much.
We get it. We know. They even brought Stoke in, and then they still do all the damn talking. Dax
They
still
may
does
as
all
well
the
just
damn
skip
talking.
to the top guys out and save us all the freaking television and pay-per-view space.
But what a great, and again, Juice Robinson reminding everybody what a great promo he is. He's so underrated.
He's Juice freaking Robinson?
Right. Yes. And they are 200,000 doll hairs richer. Nikki and I have been talking about doll hairs. We've been talking about that so much. And I think it was Paul was responding to me the other day because I was talking about Juice being underrated. And he was like, that household has so much talent between Juice Robinson and Timeless Tony Storm. Just the not even the in-ring talent, but just the microphone talent of those two is insane. That's a lot of talent in one household.
It is. I hope they don't have children. They might like rule the world or something. Actually, maybe they could have kids that would rule the world, and it would actually be better for all of us.
Yes.
I would much rather have Tony Storm and Juice Robinson running things.
Yeah.
I mean, people out there.
Tony Storm, like, she called out John Moxley, and there's nothing he can do about it. He's trying not to react to her, and he's failing. You can see him trying so hard, and he can't, and there's nothing he can do. And somebody somewhere give me Timeless Tony Storm versus John Moxley.
True story.
When is that happening?
He does not. He fears her.
He does fear her. First,
John Moxley fears Yano and Tony Storm and Willow, and that's it.
That's it. And his wife and his sister, he has said.
I mean, obviously, like, Renee is the boss, but
yes.
Well, actually, I think that probably the little one is the boss, but
yesterday, Renee tweeted that her 4-year-old daughter said to please put on a wrestling match where the women wrestle in a cage. So she is her father's daughter, but also her mother's daughter.
I thought it was pretty funny when she was running around using close to the F word, but not exactly the F word. And Renee was like joking about how, and now my 4-year-old is using this. I wonder where she gets it from. And it's just like, you two are so, Renee is like my favorite. I know I mark out about her every week, but every outfit she wears, she kills. She is so great at her. And she has become really great at not breaking, but
because like Chris grabbed her face the other day, and you could tell Renee did not know where this promo was going when Chris grabbed her head and was moving, and she just went right with it. But you could tell by the look on her face that she's like, what is happening? What am I doing?
I love it. She's the best. I mean, they're both the best, but Tony and Mox in the ring was a lot of fun. And Juice coming back was great, and them winning things is great. So
yes. Then we did have we all three got the main event wrong.
Yep.
Hangman Page lost his title, and MJF was not the cause of that.
No,
it was
he
Hook.
wasn't.
Hook has been playing us all for months. Hook has been playing every single one of us for months. He did an excellent job. I meant to mention it on the show. I did see a couple people wonder if it would be Hook that would turn, but they thought it was going to be Hook turning on Eddie, not Hook turning on Hangman. And so we got the big turn there. Then we did actually get Swerve. We were talking about on last week that both Swerve and Jay White were teasing returns. And from what I had heard, Swerve was not supposed to be back quite yet. But there he was. He has new music, which bless Prince Nana for trying to do the Nana dance to that song. It does not quite work the same. The song is great. It's just not quite a song that you Nana dance to, but Nana is going to Nana and make it work. But we have Swerve who comes back. And then on Wednesday, as you can see from the slate of our show, we have Swerve and Hangman walking to the ring together. Hangman is in all black. He's in a black shirt, black jacket, dark jeans. He had that look on his face after that segment. He had the look on his face where the same look on his face when he wrestled Swerve throughout that feud. And I mentioned back at Blood and Guts when he put Powerhouse through that table, he had that look on his face like, that part of me is still in here. I have not gotten rid of him. I'm trying to be a good man now, but that Hangman still lives inside of me. And we saw that on Wednesday. That face he had, it's still there. And so I feel like one of the things I got when I realized Swerve, when Swerve returned and I realized Swerve was coming to help Hangman and to run off Joe rather, is William will be joining them when he comes back. When he is cleared, it is going to be Swerve, Hangman, and William Ospreay who will be. It will be the three of them because, and now that picture, Swerve a couple months ago tweeted a picture of the three of them. And I think he said, I forget what the caption was off the top of my head, but I feel like will be involved somehow. The three of them will be doing, I don't know exactly what they're doing, but I think they will be a unit of some sort. Not necessarily a trios or anything like that, but they will be helping each other out because the three of them helped bring down Jon Moxley. And so now apparently they've turned their sights to Samoa Joe. And a lot of this stuff we've seen with the Samoa Joe is fans are mad. I'm not mad that Samoa Joe won. I love Samoa Joe. I am mad at the way Tony Khan booked Hangman Page's second title run. He booked his first one not great either. I don't know why Tony can't book Hangman's title runs properly. It's the fact that he wrestled two champions, two of them twice. That's my whole issue, is the booking. It has nothing to do with Samoa Joe. I love him. I'm not even mad that Samoa Joe is the champion.
Yeah,
it's the fact that they can't book Hangman's title reigns properly. Yeah. That's my issue with it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, it just bummed me out because I'm like, this takes Hangman out of the picture again for a long time, maybe ever. It took so long to get him back to the spot where he was. And then, like you said, really it was the matches that Tony gave him. It's like, I don't even care if it's a short-ish run, but you fought the same people twice. You fought mostly, he didn't ever get to use the belt to like put anybody over or
not when you wrestle Kyle Fletcher, who at the time was a champion,
is red hot.
Then you wrestle Samoa Joe in back-to-back pay-per-views. And one he's a baby face and one he's a heel. That's not good booking of your champion.
No, I could have stood to have some better Hangman choices on these matches if this was going to be the way it went, because he was still, I know some people weren't with it, but largely, I mean, he was a pretty popular champion.
He still is very popular.
He's just a popular wrestler.
He is a popular.
I'm not gonna lie. Him and Swerve side by side, even without the belt, was an awesome freaking moment. Yeah, I mean that scene was. I was marking right out. I was like, yep,
yeah.
No, let's do this. I'm ready for this.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense. He'll never be as cool as Samoa Joe, and I don't even care. Like, Samoa Joe is just on his own level.
No, he's great. And he probably is on his way to retiring and, you know, transitioning to either not being in the ring and still, or whatever. But I think that him having the belt for a run, since he's like one of the most famous ROH, and I mean, it's Joe.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. My problem is not with Joe.
It has everything. I'm with you. I agree with you. Is that if you were going to do this with Hangman, then you should have given him more meaningful matches.
Yes, that's my whole issue with it. And again, like you said, it's not even necessarily a short title reign. Not everybody has to be champion for a year. No,
I think it's not everyone's going to be.
No, and that's fine. We don't have to have, especially when you go from the Jon Moxley reign for 8 months, then I don't like feeling, because of the way Hangman was booked as a champion, I don't like him feeling like a transitional champion after you have this incredible story arc to bring Hangman back to where he is, and then to put him in that position, and then that's what you give him, and then you put it on Joe. That, to me, makes it feel transitional. And I don't like that, because Hangman Page should not be a transitional champion. I don't like the way that they feel with that. And who knows? I'm not saying Samoa Joe's even going to hold this title for 6 months. Maybe he also gets a short title reign. It's what they do with it. And you've got his very first opponent that he is defending that title against is Eddie freaking Kingston. That is going to be an incredible match. Like those are the type of matches that not necessarily Hangman versus Eddie, but like that caliber of matches is what I would have liked to have seen for Hangman. And that's not to say anything against Kyle Fletcher, who I love, but he's already a champion. I don't need him going for the world champion when he already has the title. Like I hated that. Samoa Joe is a double champion. He is 1/3 of the trios champions right now. I don't need somebody who's already a champion to be defending titles. And we'll get to some of the shit that ROH is doing.
I mean, give him Takeshita or give him like, I don't know. I'm just like spitballing here. Like Ricochet, maybe? I don't know if you want to give Ricochet a shot at that, but I don't know.
He just won the national title, but yeah, there's other people that you could.
It's just I think that you could have given him better matches.
Yeah, and then like
bigger. Yeah, I don't know.
I know what you're saying, and again, Kyle. That's nothing against Kyle Fletcher or Samoa Joe. It's the point that they're both already champions. I don't need current champions going after the world title. I need you to be using that title to build up other people around him. That are going to be going for the world title. I mean, put Orange Cassidy in that spot.
There's a good one. That's a good one. That's like I was searching my AEW banks for something that's
right.
A little bit.
But Orange Cassidy to me is a believable world champion. Considering what we've seen him do. Maybe he will never win the world title, but you can at least, people thought, I will always go back to this match. Kenny Omega and Orange Cassidy, and I'm forgetting the third person all of a sudden, but that match at Double or Nothing, and Kenny had only held that title for not very long, and people in the audience were convinced Orange Cassidy was going to win that world title. He is a believable person. Even if he's not going to win the title, you can use a guy like Orange Cassidy versus a Hangman Page. Sure, it's babyface versus babyface, but Samoa Joe was the babyface before he turned. So he was the babyface there too. And then you kind of go back. So what happens to the MJF storyline? Because MJF has that contract where he has to 7 days to cash it in because they have to. Tony said we have to, promote the match because the network wants it. And it seemed like it was going to be MJF versus Hangman. And yes, when we talked about this at Full Gear or on the pre show, MJF lost the title to Samoa Joe at World's End 2 years ago. That's when they ended that terrible devil storyline. So yes, they could bring that back. I don't necessarily want to see Samoa Joe versus MJF for the title again, but they could potentially do it. I think he has a year to do, to cash in. So perhaps it's not on Samoa Joe. Maybe it's on a different champion. But I just,
they better bring him back soon and not have him come back like out of the blue and like, I mean, I know he can't because they have to promote it. They've already got that at least in there, but still 7 days to build a story.
Right. Exactly.
And then have MJF just come in and like fly in 7 days and have the freaking win the belt. I mean,
and so that's what my thought was like. That's part of the reason I thought MJF was coming back at Full Gear. He was going to get involved somehow. I thought Hangman was retaining, and then they were going to build up to World's End where Hangman would eventually, MJF would eventually sign the contract and they do the match there. Whether that meant Hangman was dropping it to MJF, I don't know, but that's where I thought we were going with it. And now we have Samoa Joe here. So MJF is not back on TV, but MJF was at WrestleCade yesterday. He was taking pictures with people.
Of course he was, because that's good money.
Yeah, I think he's done filming. But I think it's getting close. I think he's coming. Winter is coming. Is in
networking.
Yeah. He's done filming. Alicia is back. She was working recently. He's coming. He'll be on TV sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I expected him. I mean, I really did expect him this past weekend. So
perhaps MJF comes. Maybe he costs Eddie Kingston during the Winter is Coming, or maybe he maybe that he lets the match happen and he attacks. Because Winter is Coming is where he's returned before, or he's come. Yeah, I think he came. I think
that kind of is like that is an MJF kind of show because like he's defended belts there and Plus, I think of it because you have that dream with the snow and him and
yeah. Oh, okay. So thank you. Nikki was clarifying it was just Kenny and Orange. I was thinking it was a three-way. The fans were in front of me were absolutely losing it. The possibility of Orange winning, I knew he wasn't because Kenny was the belt collector. Kenny, right? And so he is, again, even if he's never going to win the title, he's a believable person to potentially he can be in a title match.
Right.
Basically is my point, that you can have him be on the opposite side of the champion and he can hold his own and he can make it believable that he could potentially win, because I will definitely always go back to that Double or Nothing match with him and Kenny, because it was incredible and people legitimately thought that and if Orange Cassidy had won that title, that place would have erupted, like, and not in a bad way, in a good way. They would have been very happy for Orange Cassidy if he had won that title. And I still think so. He's whether he ever wins the main title or not, my point is he is a believable enough person to have, to potentially be somebody that you can have in a title match. I mean, perhaps you put him against Samoa Joe, he would still be, for me, he would be a believable, possible champion. But yeah, so that definitely opens things up of where are we going? Because, World's End is kind of not necessarily the bow on the story, because things obviously continue, but it seems like I'm not sure where we're going with things. I mean, I'm not mad at it. Like, I'm very interested in where we're going with Samoa Joe. I don't have, and I've seen the comments about it being Hook, being the one to be the linchpin and all of this, but I don't have a problem with it being Hook, because Hook is one of the early guys. We need to push AEW originals here. No, he was not a day one person, but he's been around long enough that you can have him involved in things. You need to build up these guys. You need to build up your next crop of behind your pillars. Like, who are your next group? And I'm not saying that Hook will be world champion. Maybe not even TNT champion. He might be a national champion one day. I don't know, but you have to build him up to make him believable somewhere. And so I think this is really smart. Like, I don't have a problem with it being Hook. I think I'm really excited to see where they go with Hook. This could be something that launches Hook into the next phase of his career, which is what he needs to do. He's been doing the same thing for 2 years or a year and a half. Yes, he was injured for a bit. Like, it's time for Hook.
He's got new music, which I personally like.
I like the new music too.
I love his I love that, like, Broadway Mac the Knife's kind of like vibe it's got. I kind of dig that. I like it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I think I don't have a problem with it being Hook. I'm open to seeing where it goes. I mean, maybe it's a disaster. Maybe Hook, it will be the wrong choice, but we're not going to know. And they've got to do something with him other than him just what he's been doing. It's time for them to try to do something more with him. And so I don't have a problem with it being Hook. I'm interested to see where it goes. Do they end up doing something worth the trios titles, where maybe Hook kind of gets freebirded into that so that Joe can focus on the world title, and then Hook is the one defending the trio champion, because he was the trio. I mean, he was involved in all that story until he got injured. So, I mean, there's ways to make it work with Hook. So I'm at least willing to listen to where they're going with this. I'm not going to be against Hook. Maybe it blows up in their faces. Maybe it's going to be a terrible idea and putting, having Hook be in it. But I mean, they've got to do something with him, and this is it. So I think that, I don't have a problem with it being Hook. Kyle O'Reilly was elevated, though. He tapped out Jon Moxley twice in 10 days. And then I do not like the story that they're doing here with it being basically it appears that they have made a fake injury so that he's not in the C2, which I think is dumb. I don't like that. I think if that's where apparently Kyle O'Reilly is not really injured. This was to take him out of, and it was to, I guess, do what it had to do for Mox, where obviously Mox is beatable. We've seen it. He is losing. Jon Moxley barely ever lost. He's lost more in the last few months than he ever has. So clearly I know what they're doing with Jon Moxley, but I hate that they are making Kyle O'Reilly allegedly have a fake injury so that he's not in the C2, which is that stupid.
I didn't hear that. That's
apparently this is not a real injury. There's no information of so apparently that's the theory. That's the theory, is that Kyle O'Reilly is not actually injured. They just didn't want him in the C2, which I think is Of course, maybe we'll see how it plays out. But as of right now, I think it's stupid. I don't know how you have him tap John Moxley out twice in 10 days and not put him in the C2. It doesn't make any sense. And so, yes, and congrats to yes, congrats to Claudio winning the CMLL heavyweight title. Gran Guerrero held that title for nearly 3 years. Nikki and I happened to tune it in because right before the match, it was Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia wrestled for the tag team, the CMLL tag team titles. Those guys have held the tag titles for nearly 4 years. Whoa. And I would, if FTR held the titles for nearly 4 years, I would lose my mind. Like, don't get any ideas, Tony.
Do not do that.
Get any ideas.
I will have to come to a scrum.
Yeah, the match was solid with them, but I was still working, and so I only could see parts of it. But I did watch the Claudio Gran Guerrero match. It was really awesome. There was a ton of false finishes. I didn't think that they were going to have Claudio win, A, because he's held it for so long, and also B, because before they made the match announcement with Claudio and Gran Guerrero, Powerhouse Hobbs had tweeted and indicated that he wanted to wrestle Gran Guerrero. So it's like, oh, okay. And not that necessarily that even Hobbs would have won. I thought they were just going to have Hobbs be sort of, a future opponent. And then Claudio won. And it was interesting. One thing that I don't know if it means anything. Maybe it means nothing. But so Claudio's match was immediately after Daniel Garcia and Yuta. Daniel Garcia came out and cornered Claudio. He was with him out there. He didn't interfere. Claudio did win clean. There were no Death Rider shenanigans. Nice. Yuta was nowhere to be found until after the match, and then he came and celebrated with him. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know if it means anything, but we have noticed the way that John Moxley speaks about Wheeler Yuta. The other day after his match, he pulled Yuta into him, kind of hugged him and kind of cradled him almost. But I've not seen him be that way with Daniel Garcia. So I don't know if there's something to that. If it's perhaps if John Moxley is no longer part of the Death Riders, does Yuta follow him and Garcia stay with Claudio? Does Claudio leave and take Daniel with him? Maybe it means nothing at all. It was just something I noticed. I was like, oh, why is he not out? Why didn't Yuta come with him? Why is it just Daniel Garcia? That's kind of interesting. But then last night, so first of all, the fans were not happy that Claudio won. The fans just sat there when Claudio won. They were not happy. Well, then last night they wrestled in another arena, and it was a trios match, and it was Claudio, Daniel, and Wheeler versus Gran Guerrero, Ultimo. Was that Ultimo Guerrero? I think so. And then there was, I can't remember how to pronounce it. Defun? No, it was not. No, wait, I take that back. It was Ultimo Guerrero, Esfinge, and is it Defunto? He's the one that's the living corpse. He's very cool looking. He looks really, really awesome. So the fans got mad at them last night, and they were throwing plastic cups at Death Riders.
Good thing they were plastic.
Yeah, they were there's clips of it, and they're wow. They for real have some heel heat in Mexico. It was really, really good.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. So it's really interesting also to see that dynamic with Claudio. So should John Moxley be ousted? We've talked about could Claudio potentially be the leader? Maybe so, because the fans in Mexico did not like him.
Because he keeps losing and they think he's going soft, so they're going to replace him.
Right. That seems to be one of the theories about and John Moxley he did get a win over Mascara Dorada. I don't know that John Moxley is going to get a whole lot of points. I think he's wrestling Claudio on Wednesday. I think Claudio's beating him.
He might lose. Yeah.
I think Claudio's going to beat him. And I don't know, maybe John Moxley loses the rest of his matches, and that would be quite interesting. Maybe he panics and just does the wrong thing and loses, or punches another referee in the face or something like that. It's gonna be, it's really interesting. I really love what they're doing with Mox right now. I like the possibilities of kind of what are Claudio and Pac doing. if he's gone, do Yuta and Garcia stay with Death Riders? Does somebody defect and go with John Moxley? There's a lot of possibilities there, and I think it's really fun. Crash said gonna be some sore feels when with Big Claudio carrying our world title into a match with Mox, I'm sure. All good build for the beatdown turn eventually, maybe. Yeah, I thought that too. I was like, oh, Claudio's gonna come in. I don't know if he'll carry that that title on TV. He should, but they're clearly gonna talk about it, and that'll be really interesting that Claudio is currently a champion and John Moxley is not. Marina Shafir won her blood and guts match. John Moxley did not. John Moxley has tapped out twice to Kyle O'Reilly in the 10-day period. Like, there's a lot of layers going on here, and I really, really enjoy it. And also the other obviously big thing from Full Gear is the Elite hugged it out.
We did.
When you and I talked about it, and Kilo, we talked about would they hug it out or would they? We didn't think it was going to happen so soon, and it did. He slapped their hands away, and it was because he wanted to hug them. And then, of course, there was a BTE episode, has Kenny's picture on it. Is something about, I forget the caption now, the title of the show. And I was looking at the views. When we watched it, we didn't get to it till Friday. There were 60,000 views. That was more than twice. The other BTE episodes have been averaging like 34,000. So
nice.
People were tuning in to see what was going to happen after that. And nothing really happened. It was kind of recapping the story, talking about... because if you watch the episodes kind of leading up to it where they're considering going to the Don Palace family, they're like, Christopher Daniels did something really nice for Nick. And he was like, well, maybe, and then Brandon Cutler was being really nice to them. And they were like, why are you being nice to us? And they're like, we're your friends. Like, so they were kind of realizing, okay, friendship is more important than money, which we obviously saw when the Young Bucks dropped the money, go back and help Kenny. And then Kenny hugs them. So they kind of see like where they actually, unlike Don Callis, have humanity. So, we saw that. And then, so they just kind of, Kenny, and then they aired the clip where Kenny was talking on Dynamite where he was like, they've made mistakes. I've made mistakes. We're just trying to figure it out. And then, you see the Bucks walk out of his locker room, and that's kind of it. And that's kind of where the show was too. They didn't really lead one way or another with it, but it definitely seems like, they're on their way to probably being the Elite again. Now that Hangman doesn't have the title, does that mean that Hangman will also be Elite? But then you have Swerve, who is friends with him. Where does that, how does that affect if Hangman goes back to the Elite? If Will Ospreay returns and is involved with them, where does that go? So there's a lot of very interesting things.
I think Okada could end up with them too, possibly. Because
somebody made the point the other day that
he's their friend too, and he could go be Elite.
Of what Kenny was saying about friendship and how we all make mistakes. Somebody said that made them think that Okada is going to be the one who leaves Don Callis not Takeshita or Kyle, that it'll be Okada. Which would, that could be
because
really
his friendship with Matt and Nick, it made the most sense to me. I was like,
right.
Oh, they're breaking them up anyway, and he's one or the other has got to go because they cannot coexist. That's the story. So I was like, I wonder if Okada's gonna go be friends because he used to dress up, and I'm like, yes.
He still does. Okada's been in some of the BTE.
I know he's been doing it showing lately.
Yeah, he's been in them lately. They showed the scene. It was funny from the Blood and Guts episode or show, and they were beating up Jack Perry, and then at the end the Bucks and Okada come out after it's over with, and so in the BTE episode, it's like a 2-minute clip. The reason the Bucks didn't come out and help Jack is because Okada knew what was happening, and he made them take a selfie right then and there, and then they could hear stuff happening, and every time they try to look out the blinds, Okada would shut the blinds so that they couldn't look. And then he kept listening, and he was like, oh, and then they're like, we need to leave, and he's like, no, sit down, it's fine, we can. Then he was waiting, and then he couldn't hear it anymore, and he's like, oh, okay, now we can come out. And so they open the door and see what has happened. So that was the reason that the Bucks didn't help Jack Perry, is because of Okada. Okada was keeping them in place. So Okada has been very much part of some of the BTE stuff as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if he eventually goes back to the Elite. And I think the thing with the C2, like the C2 is great, and I'm excited about all the participants, but it's very obvious what the final is going to be. I don't see how you don't have it be Okada versus Takeshita.
Yeah, right.
In the final, and then that match is, so World's End is a week before Wrestle Kingdom, where they both have huge matches. Okada is wrestling Tana for the final time, and Takeshita is defending his title against Yota Tsuji. So that's happening literally a week apart, and so it's I don't. Sure, they could go other ways, but I don't see how you look at that bracket, especially they're in opposing groups, that this final is not.
Well, and they've been building this story for so damn long. You almost have to. And I assume that Okada's going to lose to Takeshita, probably. Or do you think that?
I'm kind of going back and forth on that. I kind of feel like Okada has to drop that title, and losing to Takeshita makes the most sense, especially if Takeshita is if he does drop that IWGP Championship to Yota Tsuji, or you have there's Takeshita.
Yeah, I mean, which it wouldn't be a problem either way, because he could, if he's dropping the IWGP Championship, sure, but even without it, I think he could probably be the Continental Champion in AEW, because that's his AEW Championship, and then he's got the championship. But yeah, I wasn't thinking about the fact that there is a distinct possibility that they do belt Tsuji and go for it.
Yeah, I'm still back and forth.
It's hard to know. That one I don't know. That I genuinely
back
don't
and
know.
forth on. I hear arguments. I hear the arguments for Tsuji, and I get it. But I also have the reasons for why Takeshita should keep it. I am a fan of both men. I love them both, and I get arguments for both, and I will be happy regardless, but it also depends on where New Japan is trying to go next year with Tana
the company
retired.
thinks is right for them.
Right, exactly, because the people,
once
again, they have to book for the people in Japan who are going to be attending their shows. They're not booking for Western fans.
No.
I mean, sometimes they are, to their own detriment, but for the most part, they have to book for the people.
I mean, in terms of like us paying the 99 yen, or the actual people that they need to fill up the stadiums and stuff, they probably need to focus on that.
Yeah. Crash says, I've not been keeping up with World Tag League because I don't have time. But Crash says he had to laugh because Gabe was calling Yota Tsuji Hanma because he damaged his voice and could only talk in low husky tones on the mic. That's great. That's really funny. And I know Zach apparently has been killing it he's tagging with Big Roy over there, and apparently they're having some really great matches, and David Finlay is teaming with Hiramu, and I've seen clips of it, and David Finlay just has so much disdain for Hiramu, and Hiramu is trying his best to make David Finlay like him. And David uses Hiramu as a weapon, and often Hiramu gets injured even in the matches they're winning. And then I know Monster Sauce apparently has been there doing their stuff, and they're killing it over there. So I have seen a little bit. So I hope the people who are watching the tournament are enjoying it as we get into Wrestle Kingdom season. And so I do want to have to touch on Ring of Honor.
Oh yeah.
The final battle is on Friday, and Tony Khan makes it really hard to want to continue to care about Ring of Honor. I do watch it on a weekly basis. Again, as I say all the time, it is not on the talent, it is the booking. I would love for Tony Khan to relinquish some control and let somebody else named Bryan Danielson force Bryan Danielson to be the booker. I don't care if Danielson doesn't want to book, make him do it.
It's a remote job. You can work from home, right. BD.
Exactly. Listen, the commentary they're not there every week. Ian and Caprice record their commentary every week.
There you go.
You don't have to be in the. You're there anyway, backstage, even when you're not on commentary, so you can book too. It's fine. If Brandon Cutler can have 2 contracts, then Bryan Danielson can have 2 contracts.
Fair.
So, yeah, this pay-per-view, like, as always, the talent is always gonna over deliver. ROH pay-per-views always deliver. Tony seems to forget that he has the book of the pay-per-views too. Like, we've talked about this, how the Women's Pure Championship, tournament started way back in August.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided to drag it out to Final Battle. There were weeks in between first round matches, weeks without anything happening. Then they're cramming it all in. And this coming Thursday, we're going to get the 2 semifinal matches. And so at the end of that show, we will know who is wrestling each other Final Battle to become the first champion.
Okay.
So there's that. They do have Persephone versus Mercedes, which is going to be excellent. Persephone challenged her a couple of weeks ago. I do think Athena is retaining, because I think I said Mercedes, I meant to say Athena. Persephone is wrestling Athena for the title. I think Athena is retaining because 5 days after Final Battle, she will get to exactly 3 years. And I don't think you get her within 5 days have her lose.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't make her wait all the way until Supercard to lose her title. I think that would be stupid, but given the way Tony books things, I would not be at all surprised if that's what he does. They have not built up anybody to take that title from her. So if she retains, he needs to spend the next 3 months building up a contender for Athena who is believable enough to take off that title off of her. Or Bryan Danielson get to work. Somebody get to work and lose it, and get to work on booking her story. So we have that. Mercedes Moné is doing something that MJF never did as ROH champion, and she is actually coming to Honor Club. She is defending her title against Red Velvet.
Holy
MJF,
crap!
When MJF was tag team champion and with Adam Cole, and then Adam Cole got injured, instead of having him relinquish the title or do an interim champion, Tony let him keep the title, and he defended it one time, and then that was it. And he never came to Honor Club, but Mercedes is, because obviously she'll sell subscriptions, which is smart and what I've been saying for Tony to do. I saw the question, do we think Red Velvet beats Mercedes? I think I go back and forth. I feel like Mercedes is not going to start dropping titles until she wins number 15. She Red Velvet, she could lose the Red Velvet. Maybe this is the beginning of the end for Mercedes 14 belts, and she starts dropping, or 13 belts, and she starts dropping titles. They certainly could do that, but I feel like they're going to get her to 15 maybe, and then she starts dropping them. And also because of the way that Tony Khan books ROH. but I do think if Red Velvet wins, I think that Red Velvet looks a lot better than she has. She looks really great. Her match with Mercedes was very good. I really enjoyed her promo that she cut the other day. I would not be mad at Red Velvet winning the title, but I don't know if they're gonna have Mercedes go on her downfall. The only other thing is if they have Mercedes lose that title, and then Mercedes panics and goes and picks up some other titles to prove that she is worthy of titles. Perhaps they could use that storyline as well. But I as of right now, I think Mercedes retains. And then maybe they keep her, maybe they run it back at Supercard or something like that. But I as of right now, I think Mercedes retains. But then let's see. I didn't write down all the matches, but so Friday night is when this week's ROH premiered. And we found out actually on Collision that Rush is injured. Apparently, from what Brian Alvarez says, he has been working with an injury for a while. He wanted to get booked on AEW television and tried to work through it. That made it worse. He now needs surgery, apparently. Dralístico also had an injury with his ear. He also wanted to continue to get AEW TV bookings. He decided to work through it or try to work through it. And they were like, you cannot continue to wrestle like this. This is not happening. So Brian Alvarez said he's either already had surgery or is going to have surgery. So that means that Rush and Sammy Guevara had to vacate the ROH tag team titles the day before or a week before the match.
Wow.
So now the new match for the vacated titles is Sammy Guevara will be wrestling with Beast Mortos, who was in LFI. The two of them will be facing Tommy Billington and Adam Priest for the ROH tag team titles. They've wrestled a handful of times together in AEW and ROH. So I guess it makes sense that they're getting title shots. I don't know. So that's that match. But then, because Rush is injured, Rush was supposed to wrestle Bandito, which had not been announced, by the way. Nobody knew that we were doing Bandito versus Rush for the World Championship until we found out Rush was hurt. The match was not announced. And because Rush is injured, they are now having Bandito defend his title in a survival of the fittest match. And Sammy Guevara and Beast Mortos are both in this match. They are pulling double duty at Final Battle.
Wow.
Also in this match is Blake Christian, which makes sense because Blake Christian has at least been on there a lot. I don't know why they didn't just put Lee Johnson also in this match, because Lee Johnson and Blake have been wrestling together as the Swirl. You could have put them in the tag team title match instead. But whatever, Tony, I don't know what Tony is doing. What are we doing here is definitely the question for this show. Let's see. So it's Blake Christian, Mortos, Sammy, Commander. Commander beat Lee Moriarty 2 weeks ago in a proving ground match. He lasted the 10 minutes. He should be, like you would think, he's going to challenge for the pure title at Final Battle. No, he is not. He is in this match for the title, leaving Lee Moriarty without an opponent. Except now he does have an opponent. It's Nigel McGuinness.
Okay.
Nigel cut a promo that aired during ROH and said that after they had their what was that technical, forget what they were calling that match. It was the 4-way match with Lee Moriarty, where Lee Moriarty beat him. It was I'm blanking off the top of my head. It was a really great match. So he said he's been thinking about that match because he lost. Lee Moriarty, basically said he was washed, and he took that personally, and he's been biding his time since then. We're now having a 30-minute Iron Man match for the Pure Championship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, once again, Tony Khan makes it very difficult to continue to invest in Ring of Honor when he does shit like this. And I get it. I know injuries make things difficult, and you do what you have to do. But a lot of this just makes no sense. Like you could have had the Swirl be in the survival of the fittest match. Just go ahead and put Lee Johnson in it. Or you could have had the Swirl challenge for the tag titles. And then there is a trios match. It is STP is defending their titles against Skyflight, which is Top Flight and Scorpio Sky, because they've been building a story there with that. But you could have done a lot of other things than doing what there's no reason for Sammy Guevara and Beast Mortos to be pulling double duty on this card. And he did this last month. There was somebody that pulled double duty, and I don't know what we're doing here. He makes it very, very difficult to continue to give a shit about Ring of Honor when he books like this. Because the card's going to be great. The show's going to be amazing. Just there's a lot of, why not even have the Von Erichs who lost the tag titles? Why not put the Von Erichs in the survival of the fittest match?
Oh, there you go.
People, just put them in it. Let them compete for the tag titles again. I guess they can't do the workhorsemen because I know Anthony Henry is supposed to be having surgery soon. I don't know how soon that is going to be, but you obviously don't want to have them win the titles when he's getting, then we're going to be in that situation. And then one of the questions that I'd already thought of, because the ROH media call is Thursday. I was going to ask for an update on Nick Wayne. Nick Wayne is the ROH TV champion.
Oh yeah. Oh.
He's injured. That title.
Bummer.
They didn't. He's been injured since Christian messed up his foot and he missed the pay-per-view.
Oh wow. Yeah.
That's
a
been
long
the last
time.
He hasn't defended that title in a very long time. For whatever reason, they have not vacated the title. There's been no interim champion. But when Red Velvet got hurt, they immediately got an interim champion there with Mina Shirakawa, and then Mina lost the title to Mercedes. So, and then Mercedes and Red Velvet had the interim title match, and Mercedes retained, and so there's that. But yeah, it's just everything is a mess down there, and he makes it really difficult. I don't know what's going. So I'm going to ask. That's my plan, unless somebody asks before I do. My plan was to ask about it. It was actually funny because LaRon was mentioning it. I was like, this was already going to be my question. I'd already thought of it earlier that day because I was like, I don't even know. At first, I was like, and I told Nikki, I was like, I don't even know if I have a question. I might just live tweet the call because I don't know what to ask because of what we're doing. And then I was like, you know what? I'll ask about Nick Wayne. I'll just ask about him if somebody else doesn't ask before I do. Ask why.
Where the
F is Nick Wayne? Is he coming back anytime soon? And if not, why are you not having him vacate the title? They did this back when Wheeler Yuta was the pure champion. Wheeler Yuta was out for 4 months with a concussion. And he even said, my title's sitting here under my TV. And I look at it every day. He didn't vacate the title. There was no interim pure champion. So this is a pattern for Tony Khan. And I get it. I know that he has a lot on his plate, but that just proves the point that somebody else needs to be handling the booking for ROH. And his name is Bryan Danielson. So, yeah. I know it's not easy, but it's been like this for 2.5 years where he's just not give a shit about ROH booking. And they will go through phases where there's some really good stuff, and then it's just nothing. Or you have storylines that don't make sense, or injured champions, and we don't do anything. And so, yes, it is hard, and I do get that. And I know he's doing a million other things, but that just proves my point. He needs to allow someone
delegate.
Else. Yeah, I mean, and I know Chris Hero, I believe, is involved somewhat in the booking. I know Chris Hero is also booking, I believe, West Coast Pro. He's booking that as well. So there's probably only so much that he can do. But he has to start delegating some of this because it's a mess. And if you're using Mercedes Moné to sell subscriptions next Friday, you have to give these people a reason to subscribe
Tune in.
the next month, and the next month. Because Supercard of Honor is either late March, early April. So if you want them to stay until your next pay-per-view,
from December to April,
or even December to January, you need to start doing some stuff. And I don't know. It's real. I am so frustrated by the way he's doing things, and it makes it hard to. And again, it's not the talent's fault. And I was gonna say I don't know what the solution is, but there is a solution. It's let somebody else book Ring of Honor that you trust. And the way you talk about Bryan Danielson, that might be the only person you trust. But please do something, because so the show will be great. I'm sure whenever we talk about Final Battle, I'll have glowing reviews of the show itself. And then I don't even know if Bandito retains. It depends on how bad that shoulder is.
Yeah.
So if his shoulder is bad enough that they're trying to give him a break, then who do you put that title on when that's your group of people? I mean, I guess Commander, who I do love, and Commander nearly had the title before. So it's possible, but I don't know if they're just going to have Bandito retain and he just works through his shoulder injury. Perhaps. I don't know. It's a mess. But yeah, so we will come back for another edition of What Are We Doing Here? The ROH edition, because
almost ROH editions, largely they're ROH editions, but
Yeah. So yeah, we'll whenever we come back and talk about it, we'll but yes, I do recommend, if you can, subscribe to the show, subscribe to the network for at least this month. The cards always deliver. It's never on the talent, it's the booking. I'll take it on Morphos too. Yeah, I mean, he said to let Dalton Castle, Juice Robinson, or Tony Storm book ROH.
I don't know if letting talent book things is necessarily.
Yeah, at this rate, it might almost be better.
I mean, it's fine, but I like the Bryan Danielson idea a little bit better, just from a perspective of like he is doing backstage and commentary and stuff. So, and I think that he's got a good brain, so he's the kind of person that if the people are willing to learn, he could actually work with them. So.
Yeah. And you could have also put Dalton Castle in the title picture. I know he's doing stuff with the Outrunners, but he is the former ROH champion.
Yeah, he's done it before.
Yeah,
so
and
he knows what he's doing.
You could have Mercedes and Mortos with his and her title.
There you go.
So if Mortos wins either of his matches or both of them, then you'll know that it was Mercedes. She booked him to win both the tag title and the world championship.
Of course she did. Because that makes total sense.
Yes, that's what she's going to do. She's going to book Mortos to be a double.
She runs everything. Yeah, Mercedes owns wrestling and she books everything.
Yeah, so she'll book Mortos to win both titles.
That makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, why not? At this point with ROH, why not?
Totally normal and fine.
Yeah, he said he was joking. He said it would be crazy though.
It would be funny. Oh no, yeah, it's a funny thing to like fantasy book.
Yeah, it would at least be entertaining.
Definitely entertaining
than what they've been doing, but yeah. Yeah, so that I believe does it for all of our topics today. Thank you guys for sticking around for joining. If you were joining us just for the charity interview, hopefully you stayed for the rest. I really enjoyed her. I'll definitely be here to report back about Ashe's 2nd anniversary show. Thank you guys for being here, whether you're live or coming for the replay, and make sure that you follow us on social media and that you subscribe to this lovely network.
Yes, because we love you guys. Hope everyone had a solid Thanksgiving / Thursday.
Yes, exactly.
Next week, 1 p.m. Eastern on Sunday.
Yes, we'll be back.